Hello, what's everybody? What's up, everybody? I would have definitely back when we used to record these shows and we weren't live 24/7. I would have just been like, skip that one, delete that, retake on that. No one's gonna know that one existed. What's up, everybody? It is Distraction ROH Rewind Tuesday, whatever we call this show. It can't be Bob of Honor. O'Neill is real. It can't be any of that. O'Neill's not even here today. Something about college basketball or something. But I'm here. Stephen Jensen is here. How you doing, Jensen?
Doing good. Having a chill Tuesday. Got my show tonight with Doug on the RVD Theater for Life channel. So I'll be talking some AEW later tonight, talking some UFC, all that good stuff. So it's a good chill Tuesday over here, man. Can't complain.
Always good to take it easy and do nothing. I would love one of those days. I don't know if I'd get one, but would love it. Yeah, Bob is a coward, JJ. He killed the territory. Now he no shows. What can you do? We're here to talk about the ROH television. It was championship edition of the TV. Josh Woods defended the Pure title against LSG, and Bandido defended the ROH championship against Alex Zane. We will kind of run down the Honor for All card, which is this weekend. If you did not know, yes, ROH, despite being on a hiatus, they got two events left, essentially. They got Honor for All this Sunday, and then they have Final Battle in December. And we will watch ROH versus Bandido from ROH 17th anniversary. The link is in the description. I apologize. It's just now in the description. I'll post it in the chat right here as well. If anybody wants to watch along, there you go. The link is now in the chat. So if you guys want to watch that with us, which we hope you do, because that's the big reason why you're here, I would suspect, feel free to click that link whenever we get started. Jensen, ROH Championship Edition of television. I'm not going to lie to the people. It's been a hectic couple of days for me. I've not gotten a chance to watch these shows, but I should go back and rewatch them because it sounds like two very good matches. What did you think of Josh Woods against LSG?
So thought this was solid. Josh Woods, it was kind of like polarizing, kind of like for him to beat Jonathan Gresham for the title not too long ago. Like people weren't sure, like, man, this is the guy who's going to beat, like, because Gresham had such a great run with that Pure Championship since they brought it back. But Woods is really establishing himself as, like, I think he's going to be a really good champion. It's just unfortunate that, like, we don't know the future of the company, but like, it looks like if they were going to be around, Josh Woods is definitely a focal point. Match was solid. I like Josh Woods' use of the cravat throughout the match. I think that's like an underused technique in wrestling. Like the
Chris Hero special, the cravat.
Exactly. Yes, sir. So, Josh Woods does a lot of kind of moves and transitions from that. They had some pretty cool stuff here too. Like LSG showed his power at one point, picking Woods off the mat. And there was a cool kind of transition period or move where like LSG, he went for like a slam and a cover, and Woods like kind of kicked out of it, but also had his arm, it was like right into like another submission hold or kind of like quote unquote a rest hold. So like I thought the match flowed really well. And these are two guys, like I said, like we don't know what Ring of Honor's future looks like, but these two guys look like they were going to, be figured in as like, the kind of centerpieces of the show going forward. So it was a good match. Josh Woods won with his, like that thing he does where he puts you in a tombstone position, then throws you back behind him.
The move that he beat fucking rules.
Yeah, that move, the move that he beat Gresham for the title with, he did that again to LSG for the win in this one. Solid match.
I would imagine they had pretty big plans for Josh Woods if they're going to put the Pure title on him. Like he was the guy to beat Gresham, and Gresham was undefeated, beating everybody, and they had Woods go over him so they could elevate Gresham to the heavyweight division. So I would imagine Woods was in for a pretty decent run, and we will now see kind of what happens with that. Bandido against Alex Zane. Alex Zane earned the match through the Honor Rumble, I believe, at whatever their show was. I apologize that I couldn't remember. They wrestled before Zane went to WWE as well. So how was the rematch?
It was solid as well. Like, I think that it could have been better, but like it was really good for what it was. They did some pretty crazy stuff as you'd expect. I always forget the name of I think he calls like the Crunch Wrap Supreme or something, like the move where he gets you up in like a sidewalk slam, but then does a front flip with you, and they face plant. He used it as his finisher in the WWE. He used that on Bandido, like the normal version, and then he also hit one off the second rope, which was really nice. Bandido hit a really nice torture rack into like a sit out slam from the second rope as well. So they had some really good, they did some really cool stuff, like the kind of stuff you'd expect from the two of these guys. I'm really high on Alex Zane. Like I think that I'm like especially surprised he didn't work out in the WWE, because people don't realize how big he is. Because the way that he wrestles, he seems like he'd be like a smaller kind of cruiserweight guy, but he's got some size to him also. And Bandido, everyone knows the reputation of Bandido and everything. But I will say this, like, I've said it for a long time. I'm not a fan of the 21 plex. Like, I like the move. Like, I think it's a cool move, but I don't like the super specific setup it takes every single match for him to hit that move. Like, it just kind of takes me out of it. But he does like a different version this time, but it didn't come off great. Like he did the 21 plex and then like slowly rolled through into another German suplex for the 3 count. I appreciate what they were trying to do, but it didn't come off as good as it probably was intended to. But the match itself was solid, and Alex Zane's the kind of guy where, like, I mean, we're going to see him in Impact challenging for the X Division title. We're going to be seeing him, I'm imagining, on AEW. He's back with GCW. Like, Alex Zane's going to be all over the place. But it was cool that on this, run in Ring of Honor, this short run he's had, that he at least got, a shot at the ROH championship. So that's pretty cool.
It seemed like he probably would have stuck around in ROH had they been sticking around. But yeah, because now, I mean, the Briscoes pretty much like, Mount Rushmore of ROH when you talk about all time. They're announced for even more GCW shows. They're the GCW champions. Zayn was going to be a big part of GCW. Seems like ROH and GCW have a working relationship of some sorts. At least they had. Who knows where it kind of goes from here. But it looked like Zayn was going to kind of split his time between both. It's disappointing to hear that you say that the match was maybe a little disappointing, because I was looking forward to that, because I do like Alex Zane. I don't think he was given a very fair shot in WWE. I mean, unless you watch 205 Live and maybe NXT once or twice, you probably didn't see a lot of Ari Sterling. He was Ari Sterling in that company, right? Yeah, you probably did not see a lot of him, but he was good when he was on television. And I remember, like, I learned of him through the GCW stuff, so I was excited when he got to NXT. And yeah, it didn't work out because he was an indie guy, and they're looking for athletes that they can build through the Performance Center, not these indie guys coming in. I will check out the television maybe at some point this week when I have time. I can't watch wrestling. I fell asleep during Raw last night. Like, it's all I'm just waiting for Full Gear. I'll watch that. Anything else?
No. Man, I'm pumped for Full Gear. I haven't watched Raw, and I've maybe seen Raw maybe once all year, so I really can't speak to that. I heard last week's show was pretty good though, wrestling wise. At least that's what I was seeing on Twitter. No idea what it was like this week, but must not have been that great if you fell asleep during it. But
I took a bunch of cold meds in my defense, or in defense of Raw. I guess, like, I'm still, I think I'm like finally good, but I was still battling a cold last night, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take some cold meds. I took them about like 8:20. About an hour later, it was zonked out. Last thing I remember was the 24/7 title changing hands about 15 times. So anything after that, no idea what happened. Everybody watch the ROH television. Again, O'Neal killed the territory, but hopefully he'll be back in the territory. We'll be back. They will be back on Sunday with Honor for All. Stephen Jensen. Let's run down this card right fast. Bandido is in the main event. I might be the main event. Brody King and Gresham might actually be close this show. But Bandido is on the card in a no DQ match. I don't believe the ROH Championship is on the line, but it is a no DQ match against Dominic Flamita. Thoughts on this one?
I'm not sure why the title isn't on the line. Like, if it isn't, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but I think this will be solid. I mean, they're going to do some crazy stuff and fly all over the place. And the no DQ aspect will be interesting to see what they what they add into their arsenal with those, like, without any limitations of the rules. But I expect it to be a good match. I fully expect Bandido to win, but they've done a pretty good job of like building up Flamita over recent months and stuff too. So both guys are really, really fun to watch. But once again, it's that damn 21 plex. Like, I bet you they do a ton of like incredible stuff. Like, it's going to be like flying all over the place, off everything, and then it's going to be somehow Flamita's going to wind up with his hands up on the ropes, waiting for it. And then, I mean, it's just, but I think the match.
It is a kind of a convoluted move, that whole thing. Like, you need something that's snappy and you can really get out there. It does take a while with that one.
Yeah, I just wish he did it more sparingly. Like, if he did that move like on pay-per-view, like, it'd be kind of special. But seeing the same setup the problem is the opponent has to wait for so long, and then like you have to balance on his back while he's like doing the front flip part of it before he goes back behind you. With at least the comparison I normally see whenever I complain about it is the 619 from Mysterio, but that's a little different. Like, it's way faster and he sets you up different ways. I don't know. I think I like the 619 better, just for what it's worth, but it's one of those things. Like, I complain about it with Trey Miguel every time I talk about him. His entire moveset is cooler than his finisher. I don't get it. Like, I don't know why he uses a Meteor as his finisher when his entire moveset is better than that. But anyways, that's a small nitpick. Bandido is a fantastic wrestler, but I wish he had a different finishing move that he used regularly, and then he just whipped out the 21 plex like special occasions.
I would imagine Bandido wins, but because the title isn't on the line, maybe they go with Flamita to set up. I think Gresham's getting the match at Final Battle, though. So it seems like Bandido wins to just kind of blow off this feud. And why they don't put the title on the line if Bandido is going to win, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to bill it as a title match. Maybe because it is no DQ, and it's like, well, title match, there should be honor, and in no DQ, there is no honor. Maybe that's the reasoning for it. ROH Tag Team titles, Dragon Lee and Kenny King against the OGK, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Your thoughts?
I like this matchup. I like all four of these guys. I liked seeing OGK pop up in the National Wrestling Alliance recently too, because I strongly prefer Bennett and Taven as a tag team instead of them as singles guys. And I think they're both doing some of the best work of their career right now. And then Kenny King, I mean, he's OG at this point. Like, a lot of us remember him from Tough Enough, like that long ago. And then Dragon Lee, one of the best in the game. Another guy that I think a lot of people like really expect to see in AEW soon. Like, he's like one of those names that I always hear, with Ring of Honor and their situation right now. Dragon Lee is a name that I'm always hearing like that, we want to see him in AEW. So I think this is going to be a really damn good match. As far as a prediction, it's cruddy, right? That like there's no real circumstance or real stakes, because like we don't know the future of the company. So it's like they could really do whatever they want with these titles, because like who knows what it looks like, a few months from now. But I'm gonna say LFI retains. You know what? I don't know. I might waffle this. Well, because OGK, like, if they're gonna win the titles, like, now is the time to do it. Damn, this is a tough one. I like everyone involved. I'm gonna waffle. I'm gonna go OGK as my prediction in this one.
I am going, first off, I think Dragon Lee is headed to New Japan once things open up.
Okay.
He was big. He was big over there. I know they're doing Best of Super Juniors right now. He would have been great to be in that. I'm going OGK, and the reason for that is because they did appear on NWA. My assumption is kind of that ROH doesn't want to be completely forgotten about during their hiatus, right?
Right.
I think OGK kind of take the ROH tag team titles to NWA with them and sort of keep them in some sort of spotlight, whatever spotlight you can get out of the NWA.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
So them showing up on NWA, I think, is going to kind of lead into now them winning the tag titles and bringing them to NWA. That's my thought. Whether or not that's the truth, we shall see. But that's where That's where I think they're going with this. Again, we shall see if that is the case. We've got Quinn McKay and Vita Von Star against Trish Adora and Hala Dead.
I think that's a 4-way, not a tag team.
Is it? Okay. I apologize.
I think so, at least. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-way. I always go with Trish Adora. Like, I'm such a big fan, and like I feel like she could be an asset literally in any company. Like, so whenever I see her on the card, it usually doesn't, regardless of who her opponent is, I usually go with Trish Adora. So I'm gonna go with her. Everyone else has looked good though. Like I thought that the women's title tournament was really good last year. Some of the matches in particular, I mean, there was some good stuff there, and it's kind of a bummer that like Roxy it feels like she's really starting to like get going, and now they're, what's happening with the company and everything. But this match in particular, I got to go Trish Adora. But what do you think?
I'm a big fan of Trish Adora, and I think she's one of the people that should be snatched up immediately by some company. I would go with her as well. And it is tough because we don't really know the future of especially the women's division. Roxy is defending the title on various like independent promotions and stuff. I think Trish Adora has some star quality about her, and I'd be shocked if she kind of remained a free agent for too long. So I will go with Trish Adora as well. Taylor Rust against Tracy Williams.
So I think this will be kind of a sleeper. Like I think this will be like a really solid match. Just it'll kind of fly under the radar. But I'm a real big fan of Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Have been for a long time. So I'm gonna roll with him. Taylor Rust, I like what I've seen of him for the most part. Like I haven't watched enough NXT to know a whole lot about him there.
You didn't see much. You didn't miss much from him on NXT
because he was called Tyler Rust there, right?
Yeah,
in Diamond Mine, but like
he only wrestled a handful of matches on NXT. He was good. Like it seemed like they had something with Diamond Mine. I mean, led by Bivens and Strong. Like he seemed to be kind of the prospect of the group, and they could do something with him. And then they do what they do.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, and like you just said, I mean, Taylor Rust seems solid, but I know what Tracy Williams can do, and I was able to watch him live a handful of times back when he was the Independent Wrestling.tv champ. Actually, technically, he was the Powerbomb.tv champion before it became the IWTV champion. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, breaking the fourth wall, he's another one of those guys that like. I totally hope to see in AEW because, like, he's got the link there with Orange Cassidy and those dudes. And that's another reason why I want to see Drew Gulak let free because, like, for those of you who don't know, those guys all wrestled together in Chikara as the ants or whatever they call it, the fire ant and worker ant and all that stuff. A lot of people don't realize Tracy Williams was one of those guys, but he's been killing it for a long time. And I'm going to go with Hot Sauce Tracy Williams getting the win in this one.
I think Tracy Williams is going to win as well. That would be my pick. I think this will be a good match, though. I'm with you on – I mean, it's a 6-match card, so I don't know how many are really sleeper matches, but I do think this will be a very good match because Russ showed a lot in NXT and Tracy Williams very consistent and just overall a exceptional wrestler. GCW Tag Team titles, the Briscoes against AJ Gray and Effie.
Yeah, I love this match. I think it's really cool, regardless of the situation ROH is in currently. I think it's really cool that we're seeing the GCW titles defended on Ring of Honor TV, just for like the sake of like history. Like, just it's kind of cool that we're seeing something like this. I love the Briscoes. They're one of the most underappreciated teams, I think, in wrestling history, just because they have been kind of quote unquote stuck in Ring of Honor for so long, but. I mean, and this was obviously originally supposed to be AJ Gray and Matthew Justice before Matthew Justice got it. Or sorry, Effie and wait, why am I getting all screwed up now? It was supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be Mance Warner, and Mance is hurt right now.
Yeah, Mance is hurt.
I don't know what's up with Justice if he's just. I feel like this got all mixed up after Mance got hurt, but this might have been the plan all along. I honestly can't remember. But regardless, I'm a very big fan of everyone involved in the SGC, like Effie, AJ Gray, obviously Warner, Justice, Alley Catch, like everybody, Manders, all those guys. Like, but this is going to be an interesting match. Effie, I don't know if Effie's ever done anything with Ring of Honor. I don't think AJ has either. So that's going to be cool to see. As far as a prediction, I really don't know. You know, the Briscoes just won the GCW tag titles. If they're able to work more in GCW, which I'm assuming they are at this point, like
they've already been announced for dates. They're going to be at the Hammerstein show. Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably keep the titles on the Briscoes right now. I love the second gear crew, and it's interesting seeing the team of AJ and Effie, because usually you see Effie and Alley Cash as a team, and AJ is more of like the singles guy, or he's in like mixed or multi-man matches, like with like more of the crew and everything. So I'm really, really intrigued by this one, but I think Briscoes are the right prediction, and I do think this will be the best match of the night, this tag team match.
Ooh. I look at that Jonathan Gresham Brody King match, and I'm like,
I like it. I like it, but I'm such a mark for like this GCW stuff, and I'm such a big AJ Gray fan, dude. Like I just feel like he's gonna really show out. Like now he's got like a different kind of set of eyes on him on this show. I think he's gonna really, and same with Effie. Like he'll be exposed to a whole new audience potentially. There might be a lot of people in Ring of Honor that don't really know about Effie, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, what's going on with this dude?" Like, and he can wrestle his ass off. So like, I think it's gonna be just a really cool stylistic matchup. And then of course, yeah, I mean, can't stress it enough. Like the Briscoes always bring it. Like you know it's gonna be good. So. But I'm with you, though, too. Like, Jonathan Gresham and Brody King, like, I mean, that could very well steal the show as well.
I'm going with the Briscoes, especially since they were announced for upcoming GCW shows. Like, they're going to be on that Hammerstein show. I don't think GCW fans look at the Briscoes as invaders the way they look at Matt Cardona as an invader, because they definitely have a GCW style. And the fact that, like, they've just been independent wrestlers their whole life. They never went to the big company. I don't think they're going to get like quite the same heat that like Cardona does, but them coming in, winning the titles, and then taking them to Hammerstein and doing a big match at Hammerstein, I think that's the play right there. So I think the Briscoes retain on this one. And then Gresham against Brody King.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this could very well be the best match of the night. I think it'll be the best singles match of the night if I like, narrow it down. But
it's like 2 singles matches on this show.
You got Bandido, Flamita, Tracy Williams, Taylor Ross. Yeah, you're right. There's not that many. But I mean, I like the matchup a lot. I feel like Jonathan Gresham has to win, but Brody King has been, I've said it a lot, he's been the best built from like kind of like mid-card type wrestler to bona fide main eventer in the last year and a half or whatever. I think Brody King has looked great, and I saw that stuff today about Malachi Black. He's gonna add to the House of Black and I totally expect Brody King to be one of those people, which I think would be awesome. So I'm gonna go Jonathan Gresham though, because I think at the end of the day, like Jonathan Gresham's gonna be the Ring of Honor World Champion when this company goes into like whatever hiatus it happens. So I think Gresham keeps winning.
I would be pretty shocked if Gresham did not win on this one, like pretty shocked. So I think Gresham's going to win because, like you said, it seems like they're building that big match for Final Battle against him and Bandido and Gresham taking the title. I think Gresham, it's going to be a similar thing to OGK winning the tag team titles. Gresham, he already does like various independents and everything. Even when he was with Ring of Honor, he's going to have that title and kind of travel with that and keep it in the eye a little bit. So when they do return, they'll have their champion and it won't just be a forgotten type of thing. That's my assumption of what they do. Is that actually going to be the case? I don't know, but that's where I think they're going with everything. They could technically do that with Bandido. He's going to do GCW shows, but it feels like Gresham's the guy, right?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Feels like Gresham's the guy.
Otherwise, it feels like you kind of once again, no one knows the future of the company, but like Jonathan Gresham has been like groomed for this for like 2 years now. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you might as well just do it. Like, you might as well, like, you've been building the idea of him being the world champion for so long now that, like, just, even if the company never, if it ceases to exist the moment after Gresham wins that title, like, at least we got to see Jonathan Gresham win the title after this journey. So yeah, I'm with, it's gotta be Gresham. But Brody King's going to be set up great though, man. I mean, like, because he's so unknown to like the mainstream wrestling audience that like AEW fans, most of them are going to have no idea who he is, but he's going to get over super fast if he winds up there. So I think the future is really, really bright for Brody King also.
But you don't think AEW fans are going to know Brody King?
Well, I think like a lot of them will, but it'll be kind of like I don't know what a good example is. He won't be as well known, obviously, as like when like an Andrade or like a Malachi Black came in or something like that. But like, he'll get a pop from like the hardcores. But I think there's a lot of people that it would be the first time they've seen him.
I think that hardcore pop is going to be certainly enough to where people will be like, "Oh, okay, this guy's kind of a big deal." Like Nick Gage, Nick Gage probably on a higher level than Brody King because they just did Dark Side and everything, and Gage GCW much hotter promotion than ROH. But I think Brody King will be received enough by that fan base to where everyone else will be like, "Oh, okay, this guy seems like a big deal. Let me pop for him."
Yeah, and I think AEW in general is like great about that, like in their fan base, because even if you don't know who someone is, like you said, it's like the Big Brother or like it's hard to explain, but the idea is like you want to be cool like your big brother or whatever, right? Like you want, like, and you see everyone around you like getting hyped up about something, so you're like, whoa, what is this? Like, I gotta figure out what this is all about because I want to be in with these people. Like, that's kind of what it feels like whenever something new happens in AEW, something cool that like the hardcore fans get it really because then there's just a bunch of people who will complain, like, I don't know what this is. And it's like, okay, well, all of us do. So, like, you can jump on with us and have a good time, or you can keep complaining about it. Like,
right.
You know? So, yeah, I'm totally with you. And by the way, Jonathan Gresham's another guy. I mean, that the match right now is him versus Danielson. Like, that's like, it has to happen. Like, I don't care what company, but it has to happen.
And some company's going to do it, whether it's they do it on AEW television. And Tony just like announces it at 3:00 on a Wednesday, a few hours before Dynamite, or whether Danielson goes back to ROH for their first show back in April. They're gonna do that match. I'm very confident in them doing that match, largely because Danielson wants it, and right now he has a lot of power over what he wants. So I'm very confident they're going to deliver that match. Some company, whether it's AEW or not, I don't know. Some company's going to get it because Danielson's going to be like, yeah, this is the match we're doing. And the company's going to be okay, this is the match we're doing.
Yes. And the fans will rejoice.
All right, let's pull up ROH against Bandido. I realized I once again gave the wrong link. I'm all out of sorts. I apologize. There you go. It's in the chat. It is in the description now, but you don't need to refresh your feed. If you're in the chat, the link is right there for you. That should be the correct link. I think I just linked everybody to this show. So it's like, hey, click the show you're watching to watch the show you are watching. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there you go, everybody. Pull up ROH against Bandido. This is from ROH 17th anniversary. You got it pulled up, Jensen?
I do.
All right. We are going to count it down. Click play. 3, 2, 1, play. There we go. The usual throwback Thursday there.
Yep. Yeah, I figured this was a good one for like what's going on right now. Like, because at this point, Bandido is the role. Like, like real time, obviously. Like, Bandido is the Ring of Honor champion. ROH was the champion. Both these guys, there's a lot of speculation of like what companies these guys could wind up in now that Ring of Honor's in the spot that they're in. So this is kind of a, this is kind of relevant, a match like this right now.
Yes, Jensen picked this match, and the rules were once again, don't go too far back because we want to keep on that timeline from the early 2000s with O'Neal and Joseph, and kind of rewatching that with them. That's why we went Cole and Styles last week, because I don't imagine we'll get to Adam Cole and AJ Styles stuff by the time we do this entire series. And then this one was only 2.5 years ago, so we're not going too far back in time with this either. And yeah, I mean, these are the last two. No, who had the title? Did Bandido beat Roosh for the title? He did, didn't he? Yeah. So these are the last two ROH champions. This is obviously not a title match. This was not when either one was the champion, but these are the last two ROH champions right here. So it makes sense in that regard too.
It must have been PCO as the champion.
Yeah. This time. Yeah, I think PCO in 17th anniversary show? That was February.
Well, because wasn't it like Roosh had the title and lost it to PCO, then he won it back from PCO.
Oh, yeah. So PCO, see, I'm very confused with dates because the pandemic has just completely thrown me off on like years and stuff.
Same.
It was actually, this was Taven 2019. No. Sorry. It was Lethal. Yeah, early 2019. He defended the belt on this show against Taven. That was the time limit draw. And that got Taven into the triple threat, the ladder match at MSG. So it was Jay Lethal at this time.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I get all screwed up with the dates too, like you do. Like this feels like that whole year. It feels like 2019 was like 3 years, or like 2020. Pick any of these most recent years, it all just feels like it was all one.
It truly does feel like 2019 through like now. It just all feels like one long year. Like, if you would have told me that the MSG show was 2019, I would have been like, no, that was definitely 2018. But yes, the MSG show was 2019, which is insane to me.
So now I'm trying to remember. Did Roosh beat Lethal? Wait, hold on. I'm just getting all man.
No, Taven got the belt at MSG.
Right, from Lethal.
Yeah. And Roosh got it from Taven.
That's right.
And then PCO got it from Roosh for a short run. Roosh got it back. And then Roosh lost to Bandido.
Yes.
That's the timeline of the ROH title.
And this was like, that was around the time Roosh was just like murking everyone with the bull's horns, like just like seconds, like Goldberg style undefeated streak going into all that.
Where are you at on Roosh? Because Jack Crosby is a big fan of his, and Joseph finds him a little hit and miss.
I mean, I think he has a lot to offer. He's not. I'm probably more on. Probably on the hit and miss with Joseph, probably. But like when Roosh is on, he's on. Like it's just one of those things. Like I think he's really good, and he could. But like let me put it this way: if it was like a faction, like if they got him back together with like Andrade or something, he would like really shine in like a high profile group with other like really high profile wrestlers, I think. But him on his own, I'm not like super impressed by.
I didn't think he was he was in a tough position being the champion during the pandemic. So like, I can't hold that against him. I think he's good. I think that like trying to build a company around him, not the right move. At least not in America. I'm sure he does fine in AAA or CMLL, but in America, I'm not sure you're building a company around Roosh. Like if we're talking like big board, I'm taking like Andrade over Roosh.
Oh, I agree. I unquestionably, I take Andrade over Roosh. I'm just saying, like, if he was in a group with Andrade again, then like it would really raise Roosh's whole stock, I think, to just be like in the same group as those kind of guys, and it would just kind of up his whole profile.
Yes.
But I also, I'm big on finishing moves. Like I think it's really important to have good finishing moves in wrestling. Like more important than most people probably care about it. But like once again, like Rush's finisher, like he makes it look pretty brutal, but at the end of the day, everybody does a drop kick in the corner. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he should have a move a bit more exciting or unique than a running drop kick in the corner for his finisher. Like, so that's just another thing that I think maybe is another reason why I don't like him as much as I probably would if he had a cool finishing move.
My God, they're
That was a nice power bomb.
Yes, going through a table very early. These ROH tables.
Well, the thing is too. I mean, yeah, right. Well, like Rush is in undeniable. Like he's in great shape, good looking dude. Like he's a very good wrestler. Like at the things he needs to do, it's just there's like just something missing. Like something. I don't know exactly what it is. But once again, like we were saying, but if it's like him surrounded by like Andrade and Dragon Lee and like these guys, then it'd be like, I think he would seem a lot more special. And, I think that would help him a lot.
Maybe that's what it is. He's not that singles guy to me. Like maybe he does need to be. I mean, I know he leads La Faction and everything, and like he is the leader and the top guy in that. He's just not that guy I'm building everything around. I do think he's better as sort of that secondary guy right now. And maybe he levels up and gets to that. I feel like he was almost hotter before he came to ROH, which
I agree with that.
Kind of where ROH is, and that's just what it is. But like, it just feels like he was hotter before he actually came to ROH.
Yeah, I agree. And then they gave him that super push in Ring of Honor. Like I said, that was like the undefeated streak and everything. Because I think he was still undefeated when he won the title. But PCO might have been the first person to beat him.
I think PCO was like the first person to beat him.
Because then it also took like him doing like a moonsault through a table and stuff to beat him. And that was also them capitalizing on PCO's popularity because like he was really kind of like viral at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Rush, how old is he actually?
He's definitely not that old. I'll look this up right fast. He is 33.
Okay, so I mean, he's still probably right around his prime. Honestly, I think in wrestling, especially if you're really good at it and you can stay healthy, your early to mid 30s are actually like your best years.
Yeah.
A lot of people are always thinking like younger, like 20, 25, but like to get really, I think some people get really, really good in their mid 30s if they can stay healthy. So, and Rush in front of and like you said, it also doesn't, the whole pandemic thing takes everything down a peg with Ring of Honor because you can't hear any crowd reactions to anything. So, that hurts a lot of it too. Like for all we know, if Rush had, this whole year or 2 years or whatever in front of people and like his popularity kept getting bigger and you could hear it in the audience, that might be one thing, but he didn't even have the chance to do that. So unlucky.
And yeah, that is the thing, is because they were running in front of empty arenas, it didn't help anything. And then even when they came back, there wasn't much noise being made. So it was a cold company. He was the head of the company during a time where it was honestly at the coldest it's ever been. So it's not fully on him, but it doesn't make him look good at the same time.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Someone in the chat, Demon Gren, said Tom Sawyer joke because Rush and Rush are spelled the same. For a while, I thought his name was Rush because like I just heard about him and read about him, but I wasn't watching, or maybe it was other languages for the commentary, and it took me a while to realize, oh, they're saying Rush, not Rush this whole time. Bandido is an interesting case too, because like he was obviously really high up on like AEW's list at the beginning, without being like I know All In wasn't technically AEW, but I mean, being the main event of that show and everything, I feel like he would do really, really well in front of an AEW audience.
Yes.
His look alone is like interesting. Like you see him and this is like marketable, just look alone. And then he gets in the ring and flies all over the place. Roosh kicking out of a crossbody off a springboard from the top rope. Some slaps.
Hot start to this match. Little slow right now, but hot start to this match right now. Or hot start to the match before it slowed down a little bit.
And then, like, just then, Roosh gave Bandido a German suplex that looked more lethal than the 21 plex. I'm just saying.
You're a hater of this 21 plex.
I gotta establish my position on this. Like, give reasons for my line of thinking, so I'm not just complaining about stuff to complain. Like, I'm giving examples. Like, Roosh just hit a German suplex that looks like it would hurt more than Bandido's finishing move. Once again, it's a cool move. I'm just over the setup and the whole deal, but same kind of thing here. If I'm being fair, like Roosh he keeps putting him in the bottom rope to try to hit the bull's horns.
Yeah,
you know. Oh, the fake bull's horns and the Tranquillo. I wonder how long it will be before we start seeing some of these guys popping up in AEW.
I don't. Oh, that was a very nice destroyer that Bandido just was like, fuck it, let's do some other shit. I don't know if we're gonna see these guys fully in AEW. I'm not sure about it, because I think Roosh is gonna kind of go to Mexico. I think Bandido could do. I mean, he's already doing GCW stuff. He might head to New Japan. I think New Japan is going to benefit from a lot of this stuff more. Like Andrade, if Andrade has his way, then yeah, Roosh is coming in. I just don't know if he's going to be able to fully pull that off.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, because there's obviously a lot of options outside of just AEW. I just bring up AEW because that's kind of the place to be. But so is GCW in a lot of respects. I mean, like New Japan, they just need to get buzz back again. Like they're probably the company that hurt the most because of the pandemic, in my opinion. Like, just because they were so, like, literally, like, just not running shows for so long. And
they hurt themselves by putting the title on Evil. That was very avoidable.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. That was not a good idea. I never thought in a million years that Evil would be the champion before Sonata either. That just didn't make sense.
That never made sense. Evil is not good.
No, I'm not a big fan. The name, it's like cheesy too. It's just Evil. Comes out with like the little death hook thing or whatever, like Grim Reaper stuff. Grim Reaper is cool though. I like that guy. You ever watch the Grim Reaper?
Can't say. I mean, I've watched him like on. I'm sure he's been on like a GCW show that I've watched, and I can't say that like I can recall anything from him.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta watch some more Grim Reaper. The dude the guy smokes joints like throughout most of the match, and like make sure that it doesn't go out on him. It's pretty funny.
Oh my God, okay, now you've sold me on this guy.
The match you need to watch to get a really good idea for it. He had a match against Too Cold Scorpio, like within the last 6 months. And the majority of the psychology of the match was the two of them, like making sure the joint didn't go out while they were wrestling each other.
That move sucked, by the way. Roosh just held onto the ropes for about 3 minutes before Bandido finally hit his 450 springboard. I know. I think Sean like hates the double stomp where the person holds themselves up.
They call it the Del Rio stomp.
Yeah, like him just holding himself up, and then that I can't get into that kind of stuff.
But it's just like the 21 place. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the same kind of
anything
thing
that's like super contrived, I'm not about it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way about the quote unquote Del Rio stomp. I feel the same way Sean does about it, where there are certain ways you can get into that move that are different and work. Like I remember like Low-Ki used when I think he called it the Warrior's Way, when he would like stand on your kneecap from the top rope. So like you had to like react to like your leg hurting and then he'd jump on you. You weren't just hanging from the ropes waiting.
Yes, and that is the way to do it. I've seen other people do it like that, where they basically stand on your shins or your knees, and so that way you kind of have to fold up a little bit to maybe knock them off, and then you get hit with the double stop. But when you can clearly see that the person is just holding on to the ropes like that, it's like, all right, why would you do that? You have no reason to be holding like that. Just move.
Yeah. 100%, exactly. Like you're better off just falling.
Yeah.
Like just hit this falling back.
I get it. Ring. Wrestling there's a lot of contrived stuff, but don't always insult me.
Yeah, very true.
Like El Phantasmo does some like super contrived shit that I'll be like, all right, what are we doing here?
Some of that's really impressive though, like the way you can like walk around the ropes and jump and keep his balance and stuff. But like, but it's very, I mean, it is very unrealistic. A lot of it that like someone just run up and grab the ropes from under you, you just like fly out to the outside.
It's super impressive. Don't get me wrong. I take nothing away from, especially like that. You know, when it comes to the Del Rio stomp and the move we just saw here, it's like there's nothing impressive. You just kind of the opponent looks stupid. Yes. Right there. And the offensive person, it's like, well, they're just kind of hitting a normal move. I mean, it's impressive to do a springboard 450. I can't fucking do it. But yeah, the stuff that Phantasmo does where he like people do swipe at his legs and he'll jump over the swipe and still remain on the ropes and everything. Like it's really impressive. It's just like, all right, there's a lot to some of this stuff.
Yes. So this is that X whatever he calls that move, the Bandido. It's like the go to sleep, but from like the torture rack. Like,
rules. Why is that not his finisher?
That's what I'm about to say. Like, I don't know, like because he does that move every match, and it's just like a setup move. And it's like, I mean,
Roosh just basically no sold it. He got hit with it, and then Bandido charged at him. He's like, "Oh, here, take a overhead belly to belly suplex."
Yeah, well, that's the
just
thing.
Like when who sold the Destroyer was no sold by Bandido. Really
Roosh
impressive Destroyer too.
Yeah, Roosh nailed that. Like it was fast, flew right out of there. And Bandido just completely no-sold it. There's the bull's horns in the corner.
There it is.
That's got to be the 3. I think I'm a couple seconds behind you. Yeah, there's 3. Yeah, so Roosh wins with a drop kick in the corner. But I mean, a really hard-looking drop kick in the corner.
I don't mind the move because like he does hit it with a lot of momentum. You know, after all the shit the other stuff he kind of did, obviously it's like, all right, you could have maybe done something. You can maybe do something better, but I don't fully hate that as a finisher. The match flew by. I will say that completely flew by. It was 15 minutes, so it's not like it was a long match. That's in my wheelhouse of matches. But yeah, a lot of moves and a lot of no selling on this stuff.
Yeah, and a solid match. I mean, like that's a solid 15 minutes of wrestling. And the little nitpicks here and there. I know I talk about the finishers and whatnot, but like at the end of the day, they're both two really, really talented wrestlers. Like it's just little critiques that I have, but like at the end of the day, I'll watch the two of them wrestle all the time, no problem. So that was good stuff. And I know like at some point it's going to get interesting on this show for us because like at some point we're going to have like Joe versus Kenta Kobashi and stuff. Like they're like matches that are like way long, like that are gonna take up like the whole show. You know what I mean? Like the watch along, like most of the hour is gonna be some of these matches, some of these times too.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be I'm really looking forward to seeing like Bob O'Neill's reaction to something like Joe versus Kobashi, or like Morishima versus Danielson. Like, is another really good one.
Yes. I feel like O'Neil would have hated that match we just watched because one, I don't think he cares at all about Rush and Bandido. He's probably never seen them. Everyone in the chat just message O'Neil like, do you know who Rush and Bandido are? He just message him that. I know that's not as succinct as Joseph's message that he will send people, but I feel like he would have hated it. He was just been like, they just did a bunch of moves. They couldn't really get into it. Don't know who these guys are. Like, it was fine. That would have been O'Neill's thing. Just, it was fine.
Yeah. I'm really I'm looking forward to seeing his reactions going forward to some of this stuff. Cause I imagine like he's probably never seen like Nigel McGuinness wrestle before. You know what I mean? Like there's probably so much of this he just never seen.
He's seen Nigel.
But he's probably heard him on commentary for the WWE before, but like he's never seen him wrestle. So that's going to be interesting. That's so fascinating to me. Like watching someone who's like a big wrestling fan now that has no knowledge of this stuff and seeing the reaction to it for the first time. That's like, I really, really enjoy seeing that. So yeah, we got a lot of really good stuff coming up. Do you have any idea what we're going to watch next week?
I don't know. Joseph will be back next week. Not sure what match we will be watching, but he will be back. O'Neil should be back as well, unless he's still being a coward and has to do college basketball or something. Yeah, so that's going to wrap up ROH for this week. Guys, we'll be back on the channel tomorrow ahead of AEW Dynamite. Drew Nicholas is going to be on the channel with us, and I'm working on a couple of other appearances as well. Before Dynamite, might see O'Neil, might see Shoot. Shoot now, we'll talk about our date that we had on Saturday night. So working on to get some cameos on that one. Joseph will officially be back on Thursday, maybe 3 p.m. Eastern. It depends on how long Tony Khan decides to talk on this media call, because I will have to cover that on Thursday. But the distraction is back on Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, to talk. Well, let's be honest. We're going to talk whatever happens on Dynamite, and we're going to preview Full Gear. We're not going to bullshit. That's going to be what we're going to talk about on Thursday. And then the post show Thursday afterwards. Friday we'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming, continuing the Detroit Become Human campaign. Saturday probably be some streams and stuff as well. It's Full Gear weekend. It's a big weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. Stephen Jensen, let the people know.
So y'all can follow me on Twitter at FightTalk _, FIGHTTALK _. I am giving away a Wrestle Rumble entry right now for Full Gear on my Twitter. All you got to do is retweet the tweet that's on there and be following me. And I'm going to pick somebody to get that free entry tomorrow after Dynamite. Also going to give away a free Wrestle Rumble entry later tonight on the Live Rounds podcast. I do with Doug. We'll be live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on the RVD Tito for Life channel. That's the number 4, RVD Tito for Life. We'll be doing AEW Full Gear predictions, talking some UFC 268, incredible UFC pay-per-view. So fans of MMA will enjoy that. What else do I have going on this week? Every Friday, me and SP3 talking to Degrassi. Degrassi, dudes, check it out. Has nothing to do with wrestling, but that's a podcast that's in the world now. And then, of course, the Fightful Select Weekender podcast. Make sure to check that out. All the news that Sean breaks, all the shows, Alice Bossy, Sour Graps, Jimmy Van, all that stuff. So, FightfulSelect.com for the Weekender podcast.
Jimmy Van, what does he do?
He's on there occasionally. I see his name pop up occasionally on Select. So, I always throw him in there. I don't know. I just got to pay attention to the stuff that I do and support the people that I know are doing good stuff. So
Jimmy Van doesn't like me. That's all I really know.
I don't think he likes me either. It's okay. I don't think he knows me. I think he knows I exist, but like that's about as far as it goes.
That's pretty much how it is with me. Been on the site for four years, and it's just like, what does Jeremy actually do? I'm gonna be a number pretty soon. He's making this much and only does this. No, he's good. Here. Yeah, Full Gear. I guess there's a Full Gear watch along. That's a thing that's happening on Twitch as well. The pay-per-view starts at 8, Joel. If you guys want to do a buy-in thing, that'll probably start at 7. So I imagine the stream will start at like 7:45 or something. But we'll let people know as far as what's going on with the Twitch. I had something else that I was going to plug and I completely forgot. So forget it. We're not going to plug it now. Jensen, I appreciate it. Joseph and O'Neill will be back next week. We'll talk to y'all later on. Oh, wait. Oh, shit.